What's happening, friends? Welcome to Podcast Unlocked, episode 417 for October 29th, 2019. Coming up on this week's show, we're going to be talking to one of the stars of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. He'll be joining us a little later in the show. Plus, we've got some impressions of Call of Duty. It's out, Modern Warfare. I reviewed the campaign. Miranda, if her empty chair gets filled magically at some point during the show, we'll see. She's literally making her multiplayer review right now.
In the VO booth
She's
right
in the
now.
VO booth right now. I'm hoping she'll jump in. We could talk a little multiplayer with her. But also, big update to the Xbox All Access program. It involves Scarlett. You'll want to hear this. Plus, Fallout just can't seem to get its community happy. Fallout 76, a new subscription plan. We'll talk all about that. All that and more coming up on Unlocked 417.
Podcast Unlocked.
Ryan McCaffrey joining you. Did Destin quit? I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Mark Medina,
I haven't seen
here, present, accounted for.
I showed up. Yeah.
You're on the roll call.
I also love that nobody can say the word Fallout anymore without bursting out laughing.
We've reached a low point in Fallout history for sure.
But yeah, I'm here. Bam.
We'll talk more about that. And Miranda Sanchez's empty chair, as I mentioned.
Wait a minute.
Wait. It's
Wait a
filled.
minute.
There she is. Now we can't call it empty anymore.
Okay, so we need you to go change the name.
Now have a seat. It's Miranda Sanchez's empty chair.
You can still call it empty. I'm like halfway here.
All right. Hi, Miranda.
Hello.
Hi. All right. I'm going to get these names off of the thing there. All right. The three of us are here. Mark, why don't you scoot in a little bit? Let's center this. I'm trying to produce.
Let's
get everything. Get this looking good.
Let's get everyone in here.
In frame. There
Welcome
we go.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Anyway, yeah, it's Unlocked 417. Heart of the review season. We've got Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the big release from Friday, but also The Outer Worlds came out. We're doing a ton of stuff on that on IGN. We talked about that review last week with Dan Stapleton. So, let's start now that you've swooped in just in the nick of time, Miranda. I reviewed the campaign. I gave it a great 8 point. Forget whatever.
Great.
That's how relevant our decimal numbers are. 8 points something.
Yep.
I did 2 reviews last week, and I can't keep them straight. So
busy.
Luigi's Mansion 3. Welcome to Nintendo Voice Chat.
That was a fun day. That Friday alone, you did what? 2 reviews, an unfiltered, an
2
interview.
Yeah.
Man, it was.
Yeah, and then I did my Tesla podcast that night too, because I always do that on Friday night.
That's quite the day.
It was a lot of talking. I won't say it's like, there are plenty of jobs that are way more difficult physically or otherwise.
Yeah.
But it was vocally challenging.
Yeah, I was with you for the Luigi's Mansion. I was like, Ryan, you only have like 5 more things. Come on.
You got me at the beginning of the day before it all really got going. Anyway, Modern Warfare. So Miranda, you have not had a chance to roll the campaign yet. We'll keep this spoiler free. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I think maybe we'll do a little spoiler chat. Maybe towards the end of next week's show, if everybody
we'll
get a chance.
Play it through by then.
I think it is. I definitely want to talk to other humans about it.
Absolutely.
So
the bit I've played has not been the most exciting for me because I think the delivery at the beginning is really choppy, and so you're a little bit. At least I was a little unsure of what was going on because it doesn't really give you like mission overview or like a profile of what's going on. It's just like, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're in London. Now you're not.
Yeah, they take that same Infinite Warfare approach, same team, where there's no like loading screens, there's no like this is your mission briefing. It's all like seamless.
Yeah.
So then it's sometimes kind of hard to know when the next mission is beginning because the last one's ended, kind of deal. But yeah.
Yeah, Mark, how did you feel about that campaign?
I thought it was. I remember I talked to you when I first got back, and I was like, okay, it was cool. It was a war story.
Yeah, in a non-spoiler way here. So there are some definite things we wouldn't want to ruin for people.
Yeah. No, it was a war story, and I thought it was really good. It didn't hit me as hard as their last game, Infinite Warfare.
Yeah,
I really loved Infinite Warfare's campaign. And so this one I was like, okay. I still thought it was really good though. Maybe it's because it was more just back to your like war story versus like you're in space.
Yeah, you like the change of pace.
Yeah, I did. And but like, you know, you get to see familiar characters, all that kind of stuff, Captain Price. I enjoyed my time with it. I also thought it was very short.
See, it didn't feel any shorter to me than any of the other Call of Duty campaigns.
Maybe because we had 2 years off. Like I just because last year maybe I forgot how you know, maybe I thought it would be longer, and I was like, oh, it's over. Maybe if I went back and played Infinite Warfare or one of the other ones, it would be just as brief. Who knows?
Took me about 5 hours.
Same,
give or take, to finish. Which was, it felt, and I did it all in one day. So I did take a couple breaks for meals and such, but it wasn't one sitting, but over the course of that day, it didn't feel rushed or
I was at an event and I did it in almost one entire sitting.
Okay.
We played it. I went to lunch. I came back and I had like one mission left.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I said this in the review. I encourage you to go watch it and or read it on IGN or YouTube. But I think it's the best Call of Duty campaign since Black Ops 1. Mm-hmm. I know you're a big Infinite Warfare fan, and I know some people might say, well, that's kind of a backhanded compliment because the campaigns haven't been regarded as that great for a while. I don't mean it as a backhanded compliment. I mean it as a very straightforward, a front-handed compliment.
Yeah.
Wait, that's worse.
There is a group of people that buy Call of Duty every year just to play the campaign. Like they get it just for the campaign.
Because I played a ton of multiplayer back when I was Miranda's age, just to make myself older. But yeah, I don't know. I still enjoy the multiplayer. I played a decent chunk of it. I played a couple hours of it, I guess, at an event earlier this year, and had a great time. But yeah, I guess when it's finally out, there's so many games to play that I am personally not as drawn to multiplayer of a lot of games these days. Not just a Call of Duty thing, but I mean, Call of Duty for me, I've always been more of a Halo guy than a Call of Duty guy as far as multiplayer goes.
Oh yeah, there was
me too.
It's just the speed of it and just the feel of it. Halo's always felt more like a warm hug in multiplayer to me whereas Call of Duty, I just feel like
just getting slapped around.
And I know I'm not the best player, and I appreciate that it's not. There's some measures like I like the gunfight mode from what I played of it. That seems like more of a even playing field. Like sure, if you got good skills, that sure helps, but everybody's got the same loadouts, same everything. But I'm a campaign. I've played every single Call of Duty campaign. I guess I've finished them all except I didn't finish Ghosts because I just thought it was terrible.
Yeah.
I noped out of Ghosts after like an hour. I said, forget it. I'm not going to finish this. This is terrible.
I always have the funny story of I'm the opposite. Like growing up, I only cared about multiplayer.
Yeah.
I never touched the campaigns. Like sometimes I would start
a lot of players are that way. Yeah.
And they're just not like, I was like, okay, well, what do the weapons feel like before I actually jump into multiplayer? All right, now let's get to multiplayer. Like that's the priority for me.
Yeah.
And so the first campaign I finished with, like I've gone back since, but the first one I finished was Ghosts, and I was like, "What is this?"
Are you
kidding me?
That's
like,
a tough
this is what
campaign.
I was missing out on.
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard the stories, but this is not what I was expecting.
Oh man, but anyway, yeah, I really think it was a fantastic campaign.
You had an 8.2, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't think it quite deserved the reputation it tried to give itself of being this super provocative,
that marketing
moral, approaching the moral line. Like it didn't quite do that for me, but it was a really well designed campaign with a lot of fun moments. There's some cool curveballs in there things we haven't seen in a Call of Duty campaign before.
The graphics are nuts.
It looks amazing.
It's so pretty.
I was playing on an Xbox One X. If you happen to have a high octane PC with ray tracing, it's even more insane looking. But yeah, I had a line in the review that we ended up cutting just kind of because it wasn't quite a level, and it wasn't quite there, this comment, but I'd had this thing in where I actually went back and looked at Call of Duty Ghosts only because that was the first Call of Duty of this generation, of the Xbox One generation, 2013. So in 6 years' time, I went back and looked at Ghosts and then looked on my screen at Modern Warfare, and it's astounding to think that those are on the same console.
That's a fun idea. Yeah.
To be fair, again, and the reason we cut the line is I was playing on an Xbox One X, which didn't exist for Call of Duty Ghosts, so not quite a fair comparison. But nevertheless, Modern Warfare looks incredible. There's a night vision stealth mission that was my favorite one of the game. I won't tell you any more about it than that, but I had a really great time with it, and I hope Call of Duty campaigns are back. I hope this is the start of good campaigns again. That is my hope.
For sure.
Nothing else. We've stumped Mark forever.
I hope so too. I don't have a lot of hope for next year because
Really?
Well, because
Black Ops 5?
Black Ops 5. Well, for one, they ditched it for Black Ops 4. So, and then the idea that in 2 years they've now changed their mind, bringing back campaign, and we're able to turn it around in 2 years, or are they just going to go?
Per the Schreier report, Jason Schreier from Kotaku, reporter extraordinaire. He's great. He dug all this out that evident. We talked about it on the show, but Black Ops 5, its Sledgehammer was pulled off of leading a project. They will be supporting, and the work that was started on the campaign there, which I guess I believe is it Vietnam that it's set? Now I can't quite remember, but there is a campaign, and it will be finished up and included as part of Black Ops 5. I guess unless anything schedule-wise goes terribly wrong in the next year, they might decide, as they did with 4, we got to cut the campaign, but hopefully that won't happen this time.
Who knows what's changed at this point, too? That's an old report.
That's true. So, could happen.
Never know.
But as far as we know, for the time being, we've got Black Ops 5 next year with a campaign in it.
Yeah.
So I look forward to it. Stay tuned later in the show, by the way. Through the power of editing, our clothes will change. The people here will change.
Miranda will disappear.
Miranda will vanish.
I will teleport to that chair.
Yeah, like in Back to the Future, you've just disappeared.
Yep.
Your parents never kissed at the under the sea dance.
Oh, no.
And you're just gone.
The person sitting here will be replaced with a much more handsome man.
Chad Michael Collins, he is one of the stars of Call of Duty. He plays Alex, one of the player characters, one of the people you play as.
Echo 3-1.
Echo 3-1. We had a really fun conversation with him that we shot on Friday while he was here.
Yeah, it was
doing
fun.
Some promotion. So we'll cut to that after we do the rest of the podcast.
I asked him what other game he would want to be in. Stay tuned to find out, because it's an actually great answer.
You and James Duggan both
it is not an
melted into fanboy puddles.
It is not an answer I was expecting. So stay tuned for that.
There's your teaser. And then so I think we'll do some spoiler talk on Call of Duty maybe next week. That'll be the plan there.
But how's the multiplayer? Do we talk? Are we moving on?
Oh, I guess we didn't.
We did.
Is it cool?
Oh, look at that. That's not a.
I'm so tired.
That exasperated look.
So the thing is with multiplayer.
Get on that microphone, Miranda. We want to hear every word.
I'm gotta readjust. All right.
Bring it closer.
For those of you not watching, I'm like fidgeting here. All right.
Nope. Miranda's chair has a person in it now.
Miranda. It sounds like Miranda's today was my Friday. I can relate.
It's been a very long few days. I don't know what sleep is. I've had a lot of energy drinks. Just kidding. It's just coffee. I don't drink any drinks. Anyway, so the thing with multiplayer, the way I approach reviewing it is by getting as much time with every mode and map as humanly possible before I feel like I'm at a place where I can adequately judge what's going on. And that's important to me because I'm someone who deeply cares about multiplayer modes and like balance and just the viability of different kinds of weapons and what's new and is it actually impactful. So I have well over 100 games of varying lengths.
Nice.
In multiplayer at this point, and I came away a little mixed. Like it's good. It's just a little disappointing in certain things, namely in the maps, and that's kind of what's gotten me down a lot because I really like the way it plays and the way it feels, and I like the gun customization and being able to essentially like feel your killers load out. It's like, hey, you killed me with this. I'm going to see what you're doing here. So it's like you can't ever just say, it's like, well, that thing is overpowered. It's like,
right.
well, you can take that and see how that
That's
feels.
cool. I like that.
And yeah, it's like, that's really great. But some of the maps are so bad. Two of the maps I hate so much. I think the one that universally people don't like, unless you're a killer sniper, is like Euphrates Bridge, which is this one map with this very long bridge in the middle, and whoever like kind of camps that will win. Like it's so easy to camp on that. And like camping's pretty rampant in this one, and I think there's a lot of factors that attribute to it, in which you can read in my review because I just did my VO and I don't want to repeat it all again.
Yeah, please. Yeah, no,
VO.
it's go watch it or read it.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of factors that kind of contribute to that, and Modern Warfare does a good job of giving you the tools to counter people who are camping, but spawn camping is a whole different issue, and you cannot escape that. There are certain maps, so not Euphrates Bridge, but Piccadilly has one spawn that is super easy to camp because you can only get out in like 2 ways, kind of. Like you can spawn on either side of an alley, and then it all funnels into one. I'm falling on my chair. Sorry, I'm falling into so it funnels into one street. I'm just gonna crutch.
Jeez,
the show's great.
So it funnels into one street, and if you guys don't press a spawn too hard, you can just keep people pinned there the entire game. So there was this one realism mode when I was playing, and we got to that. We pushed them all the way back to their spawn. Yeah, spawn camping, and so I was just like, well, I could be the jerk who's sitting there and doing this too. Or I could just walk away with my 5.0 KDR and just go look at some posters of like dogs. Just what I did. Because there's like a nice little calendar inside of one of the tourist booths that just has like a cute dog calendar.
Nice.
Anyway, so I was just like looking. Everything's like 80% off. Like I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lot of sales in Piccadilly. so
well, it's war torn. Everything must go.
I guess so. So that feels really bad. And I tested a few times of how easy it is to spawn camp. And it's so easy, y'all. It is bad. Please don't do it if you have any decency. And I'm sure people.
I saw you tweeting about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see. It's like, okay, if I can sneak around and just post up with an LMG and like ghost and just be super quiet and stealthy, it doesn't matter how many times they're at me because I'm fortified. I have the equipment I need to take them out. And by the time they take me out anyway, I have so many kills that like my kill streaks are just good to go. My team has the advantage, and we'll just win. And so that's a really bad time, I think. But of course, it's only one of many things that happens, and that's not every single map you're going to get. Another thing I was really disappointed with was that they took out map voting. So,
really?
Yeah, you can't choose which map you're going to get because they kind of lumped all of like the general modes, so like team deathmatch, domination, headquarters, search and destroy. Everything is lumped into a quick play queue list.
Yeah.
So then you choose which ones you want to queue for, which I guess is kind of convenient. It's like, I don't know which ones I want to play today, so I'm just going to queue for all of these and see where I end up. But because of that, it pulls you out of every single lobby, so you're never persisting through, so you don't get to choose which map comes next. So because you're just joining new lobbies every time, you don't have a choice to vote.
What if you just do, like, I'm going to do TDM 20, then do you stay, or that's just the game is designed to pull you out of the lobby every
It will
time?
always pull you out, because the idea, too, is, this is what my theory is. My theory is anyway. Because you're in that lobby, that doesn't necessarily mean that other people in that lobby with you are queuing for the same thing. So it just pulls you out every single time, and you can't vote. And I don't know if it's because of that or what's going on, but I only got to play the night maps once. I played one night map in over 100 games.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm so mad because I love the night maps. They're so cool.
Fun.
Yeah, so that's been pretty disappointing. But there's a lot of good stuff too. Like I again like weapons a lot. I really like Ground War. It's like a light Battlefield mode. In that you have like tanks and you're just capturing 5 objectives, and there's like a lot of people on your map, and it's just chaos. Like rockets are going everywhere. People are just like camping with tanks in certain areas. Like there's certain spots where people just go up like on a hill and like camp with their tank. Easy to take out, but it's just like a really fun time. And they're a little bit long, so I don't play that many of them. But it's just some good chaos.
All right. So kind of a little bit of a mixed bag, it sounds like.
Yeah, mostly some good things. And I'm glad that Infinity Ward's already said that they're going to give free maps. So hopefully some of the worst ones are just out of the rotation. And there are maps that I do like. It's just that it feels like the ones I dislike come out more often. I'm like, could you please go away? No one wants to play
if you can't
this
vote
map.
down the map you don't like, that's too bad.
And people leave lobbies a lot, I've noticed too. Like, especially once spawn camping starts, like, it is over. People just quit.
Yeah, that's...
It's fair.
That's
like,
rough.
you can't get out in certain maps.
Right.
So, I don't know. Again, really liking it. I didn't talk about Spec Ops so much, which I also have in my review since it's technically multiplayer. It's fine. It's weird because it feels like it's unfinished. Like there's
dude, that's exactly what we said. We were like, we felt like after playing like a few hours of it, we were like, I don't know anything, but it feels like they were going for something, and then at the last minute they were like, dude, we got to just do Spec Ops and get this out the door. So like it feels not great.
There's one mode to the classic Spec Ops. It's supposed to have a ranking system or something. And it says in like the rewards category is coming in November. So I'm just like, what? I mean, November is really soon, but when in November? And also, why is this not here? And if that's not weird. Good till November, then why am I even bothering playing with this?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't give you that much experience. So, I mean, I'd rather go do something else.
And it's crazy hard. Was it hard for you?
I mean, I guess it's hard, but it's not fun hard. It's just
It's just like there's just like people spawning behind you, and we were. I was very frustrated.
I mean, it's not really an interesting kind of challenge, especially if you're playing with random people that you don't care about. Like if you're teaming up with your friends, of course, everything's more fun with your friends.
Sure.
So then maybe you'll have a good time, but otherwise, it just exists.
So, something we noticed, and this is just like gamers being spoiled now, is one of the people on our team were like, "Whoa, where are the stim packs?" And I was like, "They're over here." And he's like, "Where?" And I'm like, and he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "This needs a ping system."
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah.
Like, 2019 is the year that games either got a ping system or we started realizing that games need them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I've been talking about for a long time with like zombies because you have to coordinate with your team, but I don't want to get on a mic because the Call of Duty community can be super annoying.
Right, but it's like, use your key
annoying, like,
here.
I just don't want to deal with it, right? Specifically with Call of Duty. And so that's been a thing I've been asking for a long time. And that's a thing, like a ping system could be helpful for like breaking out of spawn camping. Like at least just like markings like, hey, there's someone over there.
Right.
Or don't go there.
Yeah,
please.
for sure.
There's a clay. Please don't. Please stop. Stop.
Right. Just stop funneling.
I'm begging you.
Totally.
No, but that's the thing is like everyone just mutes everybody. Like it's so easy to do. And because they know it's not great.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to some guy chewing on his chips.
Yep.
Ugh, yeah.
No, after
that's
like
another reason why I don't play much online anymore.
Yeah. Loud music.
After like 70 hours of Borderlands 3, it's really hard to go back to anything co-op or anything just multiplayer with and not being able to like tap, up on the D-pad and be like, here's a thing, do this. Here's what you're looking for.
Before I move on, I love realism. Realism's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I really enjoyed the bit I played.
Yeah, it's just quiet. So realism amps up the weapon power just like a tiny bit. So it's a faster time to kill and removes all HUD. So you have to keep track of your own kills, your own deaths. Make sure whenever you get a kill streak, they'll have something over comms, but if you're not paying attention, you can miss it. And it is really nice to move a little bit slower and just be a little bit more tactical. It just feels good. Because those maps are really beautiful too.
Yeah.
So like once everything just slows down a bit, it's just nice to appreciate what's going on there.
Yeah, I played the realism on the cave map.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, good stuff. All right, well, we've got two big topics I want to get to and not a ton of time, actually. The Chad Michael Collins interview was about 30 minutes or so. It's good.
I forgot we had the, sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot.
So, and yeah, we started late as well. So I want to talk about Xbox All Access. If you guys remember this was the subscription service that Microsoft very smartly rolled out a bit ago of, hey, you could pay, a certain amount of, make a monthly payment, and over the course of 2 years, pay off your, zero interest thing and pay off your console. And it's, we don't hear much about it.
Yeah, but I remember like it was like a thing, especially when Xbox One X came out, and I considered it. Yeah. And then I didn't. But then it was like, the idea of not having to drop so much money right at once.
Yeah, because these, the X is not cheap, and Scarlett will not be cheap, and that's what's interesting about this update to it, is Xbox All Access has laid out a Scarlett upgrade path. So here's from Microsoft. They say, with Xbox All Access, you get an all-inclusive Xbox experience with everything you need to start playing right out of the box for as little as $19.99 per month for 24 months. That's, of course, United States pricing. The program is a great choice for players who want flexibility in their purchasing options and are looking for the best value in gaming. When joining Xbox All Access, you get the console, and now you could, an S will cost you less per month, obviously, or you could go for an X. And then, of course, a controller comes with it. For the entire 2 years that you're making payments, you get a membership to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
That's so good.
Which is phenomenal.
That's like worth it enough right
there. You don't necessarily, or put it this way, if you don't buy any games during the 2 years you're making those $20 or what have you a month payments, you've still got a ton of great games at your fingertips at all times. And then, with the X specifically, there is an option to upgrade to Scarlett once it's available in holiday 2020. So you can just use this as a gateway drug, basically, to not be staring down the barrel of what I suspect will be another $500.
So how does that work? Do you send your X back?
We don't know yet, but presumably Microsoft has handled everything in a very gamer-friendly way with this so far, and most of their programs. So now this is through retail. In order to join the program, simply visit a participating retailer, select the console you want with no upfront cost. Now there is a credit check involved here. You need to qualify with Microsoft's financing partner, which is Citizens Bank in the U.S. and others in other territories.
Yeah, they want to make sure you're not going to just pay the $20, walk out, and just be like, okay, I'm defaulting on this. Who cares?
Exactly right. Once approved, complete your purchase with the retailer. Once you've signed up and brought your console home, it's time to power up and game on. So yeah, again, you'll need probably at least half decent credit to make this work.
I mean, I would assume, like, you're talking, you said it's 20 for 24 months? Like how much do you have here where these ending totals would be?
One of our commerce editors, Seth Macy, who we love to death, he works out of Maine, which is why we never get to have him here on the show. But he said he slacked this to me, and I was like, "Can I use this exact quote on the show?" And he's like, "Sure, no problem." So he dug into all the numbers because that's his job.
Yeah.
He said, "It's the best deal I've ever heard of for a video game console and service. After the 24 months, you own the console outright. Deduct the cost of what you'd pay for Game Pass Ultimate, which is $360 over 24 months, and you'd get an Xbox One S all digital for $120 and an X for $384 with the option to upgrade next holiday to the Scarlett." So, yeah, this is a really good deal when you factor in the Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, it's not even just the standard Game Pass; it's Ultimate, which includes
which
Xbox
gold,
Live.
Yeah.
It has PC stuff as well, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking, like, as far as like credit checks go, like you're essentially just taking out a $500 loan.
Yes,
which isn't that hard to do. A younger Mark has gotten payday loans in the past.
Right. I mean,
it's not that hard. Like
everybody's mileage may vary.
Sure.
Yeah, it's.
But it's not like you're going to get a car. You're just taking out like a $400 or $500 loan. I think it's really, really cool. That's a really good deal.
Again, this is another thing where if people are as the new consoles, as the PS5 and the Scarlett start to come together over the next 6 to 9 months, when we really start learning more about them, if someone's on the fence, there are going to be plenty of people that are just invested in PlayStation. There's I'm all PS5, and there are going to be plenty of people that are, hey, all my friends are on Xbox. I love Game Pass. I love Halo. I'm going Scarlett. But there will be a large swath of people who are on the fence and willing to go either way. And this is a chance for them to go, well, this lets me spread out the cost in a very affordable way versus having to just bite a $500. And really, when you factor in tax and any games,
right,
$600.
You could get by on this paying $20 a month and never have to buy a game.
Yes,
and never have to
Halo,
do these upfront costs.
Halo Infinite will be on Game Pass on day one.
Yep.
if you're a Game Pass subscriber, the killer launch title for the Scarlett, you don't have to spend $60.
Plus, who knows what else they're going to add.
Exactly. I mean, Forza 8 is all but is inevitable. And then, whatever. And then when the rest of the first parties start revving
well,
up
if you
too,
did this today, you'd instantly get Gears 5, Outer Worlds, like right. But it's like some of the biggest fall 2019 games. You own 2 of them instantly.
Yes, exactly correct. So this is just fantastic. Definitely wanted to get the word out on this. So do look into it if that is something that is of interest to you. All right.
By the way,
yes,
After Party was just added to Game Pass.
Yeah, that's it.
About that?
Thank you for mentioning that, because that's always good. We've learned that Game Pass is great, but the word doesn't always seem to get out about which cool non-first party games are available in Game Pass, and After Party is one of them. So if you liked Oxenfree, which if you played Oxenfree, odds are you liked it. That studio's next game, After Party, is out today.
Go drink in hell with some demons.
Yes.
And Satan.
Outdrink that devil man. Now, Mark.
Yeah.
Fallout 76.
Oh.
Ouch. We had a whole thing earlier that when you say the word Fallout 76, you just instantly start laughing. Fallout 76.
Fallout 76. Bethesda launching a new optional subscription service for Fallout 76 a year later here, called Fallout First. And it's $13 a month or $100 for a year.
For $6 more, I can get an Xbox One X with Game Pass and Gold and all that stuff.
This isn't it. This is not it.
This ain't it.
This ain't. Well, it's there, and what that money gets you is private servers for you and up to 7 friends.
Allegedly.
A scrap box with unlimited storage for crafting materials.
That eats your stuff.
A survival tent that acts as a placeable fast travel point.
Big whoop.
1,650 atoms a month for the game's shop, so an atom budget. You got anything for that one, Mark?
Whatever.
An exclusive Ranger armor outfit and unique icons and emotes. And this, as you can gauge from Mark's reaction, has not exactly gone over great in the general gaming community, or even really the Fallout community.
Yeah, the Fallout community seems to not be.
It's a multi-tiered problem. Problem number 1 is just the service itself exists. I'm like level 56 in Fallout 76. I've put a lot of hours into it. I like it, but.
Yeah, and they have improved a lot.
Yeah, and I was really excited for the Wastelanders DLC. I was actually pretty disappointed to see that it ended up getting pushed till next year. That's crazy expensive. This is very expensive. That's when you factor in most people are paying for Hulu, Netflix, Xbox,
Disney Plus,
Gold,
compared to literally any other subscription service.
That's pretty nuts.
I mean, is World of Warcraft even this much money a month anymore?
No, well, it's $15 a month. Yeah, it is.
It's
so $15 a month. But World of Warcraft updates every few weeks. You know what I mean? With constant expansions. So that's your first problem, is that it's crazy expensive. The second problem is 2 of these things don't even work right. The private servers, not so private. If you join a private server, people can join on you.
Oh,
that's not a private server.
Yeah, that's not what private. That doesn't mean what they think it means.
Right. Well, and the thing is you would think, well, it's just your friends joining on you. But some people in Fallout 76 are like, they act as vendors, because when you make a camp, you get vending machines that you can drop your own stuff in that you can set the prices for. So that way people can join your server to see what you have for sale. People are filling up their friends lists with other Fallout 76 players.
I see.
So then, if that person decides, I don't want to be a vendor today, I just want to go quest, all of these people you've now added get to just still join on your server anytime they want. And you have to kind of just be like, I'm not a vendor today. I'm not, I wanted to play by myself. I wanted to quest. So now they either have to like give up their vendor business and delete all these people that they don't actually know.
Right.
Or deal with the fact that Fallout 76 private servers is just going to be a normal server to them, because people are just going to join it.
My goodness.
And then the storage, this is just typical kind of Bethesda, is people are putting stuff in there and then they're coming back and it's just gone. Like this stuff's just gone.
those things can be probably fixed, at least the
I think so
issue.
too. Yeah. The storage issue is just clearly a bug that like, they're putting stuff in there and it's getting lost server size. The other one is something that they need to like, okay, we didn't anticipate that. We can.
So it's like the problem I see with this is I get that they want to keep making money on this thing that they're offering as a service, right?
Sure. Yep.
But this isn't really how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of silly. And I don't know, whenever I see these kinds of things happen, I'm like, who made this decision?
Yep.
Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, I mean,
they seem very out of touch with how things work in gaming communities and like what people are responsive to, especially for a game that you've already paid for. And some of these features are things that people wanted in the core game.
Yep.
I mean,
well, and they're kind of dangling mod support because people really want to mod the game, and they're saying, "Oh, well, you know, private servers are the first steps to letting you mod the game." So basically, what they're saying is, if you ever want to mod Fallout 76, you're going to have to get the subscription.
That's
and they walked back their whole, which take that for what you will, that microtransactions will always be cosmetic. That's obviously not the case anymore. Yeah, it's very weird. And the thing is Fallout 76, when people say like nobody plays that game, that's not true. Lots of people play Fallout 76.
Sure.
But when they're mad at this, then you know there's an issue.
My hope is that you remember, I mean, does the buck ultimately stop with Todd Howard on a Fallout project? Yes, it does. But Todd Howard's Bethesda Game Studios internal Rockville, Maryland team didn't develop this game.
Sure.
And so while you know that Todd and that crew is still ultimately responsible for it, I see this as they're learning a lot of what to do and what not to do for Starfield, which is probably going to get announced. I would suspect that Sony and Microsoft are both just frothing over
fighting
who's
over
going to get
whose
to like
stage it gets to be
exactly. So Starfield's going to be a big deal. We'll probably hear about it next year. I don't know if it'll be out next year or maybe the year after, but I see Fallout 76 as a massive learning experience for the next major Todd Howard project, which is Starfield, and then way down the road after that is Elder Scrolls 6. So,
and I hope whoever is leading this project kind of looks at this and it's like, oh, maybe this was not the best idea. How can we change this and make this better for our community? Because at the end of the day, people make mistakes. And you just hope that they learn from them and adjust course. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to serve a community. And
That's happening with Ghost Recon right now. They just put out that big press release where they're like, we hear you. We're going to try to fix this game. With Fallout, I don't know. The thing is I don't care enough about these things, except for maybe the Ranger outfit, because Fallout New Vegas, my favorite Fallout game.
Yeah.
Coincidental that Outer Worlds is out. But I'm very excited still for the Wastelanders DLC. Like, I'm not done with Fallout, but I'm not gonna opt into any of this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Vote with your wallet, as always. You know, you don't have to spend the $13 a month or $100 a year.
Also, just as a funny tidbit, it's creating some sort of a class warfare where you get a tag that you're a Fallout First member, and so it's kind of this whole like these elite people versus like, hunt down the broke people who can't afford Fallout First, and it's becoming this like weird. I don't know if it's like a serious problem or if it's just like a Reddit thing.
It's a war on the 1%.
But
eating the rich.
Right. It's becoming this thing where it's like, if they got a Fallout First tag, we're going after them for, and it's this like class warfare thing. It's hilarious to see.
Well, I mean, there's I don't think anybody would argue that against the idea that Fallout's reputation has suffered at least somewhat, if not a lot.
I wouldn't say the brand is like tarnished, but I would say the brand definitely means a lot less than it did. Like when Fallout 4 was announced, right?
Oh, everybody was psyched.
It's like it was nuts to see Fallout. It was nuts to see Todd Howard up there, and I'm going to talk about the next Fallout, and it's crazy. And I love Fallout, and it's sad to see the name kind of be
and my point there is that because of Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 being the next two Todd Howard projects, we are probably not going to see Fallout 5 proper for a long time, which might give people time to I don't want to say forget about Fallout 76,
Sure.
but for the justified anger at a lot of the decisions and results of this game, going away for a while.
I would kill for them to allow to do a New Vegas. Like, I would kill for them to. Obviously, it can't be Obsidian now,
It
but like
could be if they want. Yeah, I mean, hey,
Xbox exclusive Fallout.
Microsoft is publishing Psychonauts 2 on PlayStation 4. They're publishing. Wasn't there? I feel like there was one other one, but anyway.
Minecraft's everywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was
Minecraft
everywhere before.
Yeah,
But,
so it's not out of the question.
It's tough though, because Outer Worlds is doing so well. Like, people love that game.
Yeah.
Like, would they be like, okay, we'll make New Vegas 2 or just whatever? But like, regardless, I would love for them to let somebody else take another crack at a Fallout game. I think it'd be really cool.
Could happen.
And it would bridge the gap between now and Fallout 5, or
Yeah, I could see it. That option definitely is on the table. All right, we've got to go.
Yeah.
We have to go, but we're coming back. Our past selves will be here with Chad Michael Collins, star of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's by the way, that is a spoiler-free conversation as well. So if you have not played or finished the campaign yet, don't worry. You can enjoy the interview, no problem. We had a really good time talking to Chad about how he was cast in the role and just and how all that stuff's made. I was fascinated to learn all of that.
What it's like staring out of a window that's actually a wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Holding a plastic gun.
Next week, hopefully, the usual crew will be back so that we can do a live on-air unboxing of the 2019 Unlock Block Trivia Trophy. It's sitting. Woo! It's arrived, and I'll give the. Oh no!
Oh.
All right, we got to go. We were warned about this.
Yep.
Enjoy the Chad Michael Collins interview, and then so that's 30 minutes, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And we are back. We've got a special guest with us, Chad Michael Collins, the star. Yes, not Price, not Farah, not Hadir. We've got Alex himself, Chad Michael Collins, star of
Echo
Call of Duty.
3-1.
Yes,
3-1. One of many stars in this game.
Chad, thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I've been a big fan of IGN, forever.
Great.
Your walkthroughs, in particular, are
Everyone
invaluable
always,
to me.
every time someone says that they're a fan of IGN, they go straight to the walk.
As well they should. The guides team does a tremendous job.
I don't have childlike enthusiasm anymore sometimes. I just need that walkthrough. Like,
Sure.
It's okay.
Sure.
It's fine.
So, all right, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Has it really sunk in that you are in one of, if not the single biggest video game release of the year?
Yesterday, or I should say Thursday, before the game actually dropped, it started to resonate. It's the messages started to come in, the posts started to come in. Going dark everywhere. People excited to download it and boot it up as soon as they could, whether that was at midnight or the very next day. So it's starting to trickle in, I suppose, and just be a reality. Because we've been doing this for about a year and a half.
Wow, that's a long go, yeah.
So now that we're finally here across the finish line, it'll take probably a few more days to really have it sink in.
So we'll keep this conversation fairly spoiler-free for those people that haven't had a chance to finish the campaign. My review's up on IGN now, if you want to see that. Spoiler for you, I really liked it. You can read it in the future when we're recording this in the past.
He's
but
just saying that because I'm here. It's fine.
No, it was a real good time, and that's I am fascinated by the world of voice acting and video game acting, and it's becoming, it's every bit. You did performance capture for this game, yeah? Which for those that might not be familiar, like it might sound obvious, but there's probably some really key differences with not only the role but how you approach the role between a more traditional voice acting role and a performance capture role.
Absolutely. We were in the full suits, full spandex, heavily Velcroed suits covered in dots on the face and the body and everything else.
Yeah.
So, every character that they see in this game, whether it's me or Captain Price, Hadir, Farah, Sergeant Garrick, these are actors, doing the full thing. And it's our faces, our likenesses, our movement in those scenes, obviously our voices too. So it was really, really fun to really originate brand new characters. I mean, Barry had the most pressure because
who's playing Price. Yeah.
Captain Price was already established, and we knew him for the past iterations of the game, right? So, but I just thought his performance as Captain Price was the Captain Price, that we all want in
Sure.
the next generation.
Yes.
What's it like staring at, I was watching a cutscene right before we came in here, and it's when you guys are in the hospital and there's a bunch of people outside, and you're like staring out of a window, and you're like, all right, guys, this window's closing pretty soon.
Yeah.
They're going to come breach. What's it like staring at a wall saying those things?
Pretty much it. We're flat, there. Yep. There's no ground below us. It's more challenging to go down a ladder when you're just standing on the ground.
Oh, man. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, honestly, the process is, to answer your question about being interested in this, the process for a scene like that is it's amazing because you have to use so much of your imagination.
Yeah.
They'll give you kind of a look. It's called a pre-visualization. They're not finished rendering that world yet, but they will show us kind of, basic rudimentary, this is a window, this is a table, this is the walls, this is the space you have to work in. But then the rest of it is all up to us. And it's really, really fun. And it's really, really freeing, I suppose, as an actor to just let your imagination go
Here's
wild.
A plastic gun. Yeah. Hold it like it's real.
Yeah.
It's acting.
So,
acting.
I mean, obviously, I knew beforehand that kind of going in, you're not mocapping. Because there are points where we step into somebody else's shoes, Kyle Garrick,
right.
And there are points where the two kind of storylines converge, and we get to see your character from the third person. So obviously you're not motion capturing every single part of that, but it kind of blew my mind just to think that, like, how modular it is, right? It's your facial performance, it's your voice, and there are probably parts that you mocapped, but I assume that there's also, like, just straight up animation and then maybe somebody else's motion capture with your performance on it.
Right. And we started off the game before we shot anything. We did a tremendous amount of scans, facial scans, body scans, all these sort of things. Just, this photogrammetry technology that they're talking about. Yeah. They literally wheel the actor in a robotic chair into a sphere of lights and lights and cameras from every single angle. And then you have about 125 different cues where it's like A, E, I, O, U, anything you would say, anything you would articulate, smiles, eyes open, squints, scowls, smiles, all the things.
So they have you. They can make you do anything.
Yeah, we're in we're in Skynet at that point. And then for stuff like that, when you're playing as Garrick and you pan over and there's Alex, to your left, that face, that expression, that whatever, they would pull that probably from the system, the database that they have. So, but the cutscenes and stuff are all 100% organic, totally us in the moment.
So I don't know if this is kind of your regular look, including like in most roles, or because you've got kind of the cool mustache and then sort of the scar. Like, is that just animated on later, or do you or is it like a live action role where that's you grow all that and you
have
got
a plastic mustache on?
No. I'm sort of curious, like how that works in the game space. How much of that's you and how much of that's.
I was just as surprised as everyone else to see that this huge Tom Selleck mustache on my mug. But that's a credit to them.
It worked.
I love it, honestly.
Yeah,
I love it.
I will say,
because I'm actually quite mustache challenged in my real life, so it's actually really quite a cool nod. Yeah, and the arm tattoos on Alex.
Yeah,
he's got a sleeve, and that is actually, I think they took inspiration from one of our Navy SEAL consultants named Steve. He has that, so they kind of put that on my character.
Nice.
Mitch and Steve were ex-Navy SEALs who came in and advised on this, and they're incredible help, great asset for this game. So, yeah, that's Alex. I don't know where he got the headscarf from. We can guess it's from any number of
backstory.
It definitely
I doubt it's from trying to cut his own hair. I'm pretty sure it's from something hairier.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up too is now that you have seen the final game, you mentioned the previs stuff they would show you. Like, well, I think this is the characters in this game are some of the most detailed and realistic I've ever seen in a shooter. I mean,
I agree.
The characters look amazing. Like, were you surprised at just how detailed and lifelike the final product was?
One of the early appointments we had when we were doing the scans and everything else was going to Blur Studios, where they took everything from dental impressions and whatever. So, I mean, anybody who knows anything about the VFX CGI world knows that Blur Studios is one of the best on the planet. And I knew that if those heavy hitters were involved, I was like, this is going to turn out amazing. And for sure it did. Just the lighting, on some of these scenes were it's just gorgeous. It's like some of the best cinematography I feel like I've ever seen, you know, and it's done by these geniuses, these wizards. To that effect, but we were blown away when they would show us even a mostly finished version of one of these cutscenes or whatever else. Our jaws just hit the floor.
Yeah,
it's like that's me, that's you, that's incredible.
I'm a video game.
I think what's really interesting about the cutscenes in this game is they're generally, I mean, they're dialogue driven in a way that when I think Blur Studios, I think like some crazy neon gun shooting and it explodes a bunch of gas.
They've done a lot of cool Halo stuff.
Done a lot of cool stuff like that. So to see it all very, very realistic, and I don't know if understated is the right word, but certainly compared to like how bombastic the campaign can get with all the explosions, it is cool to see it just kind of a scene. Just it's not necessarily action driven. It's more dialogue and character driven.
Yeah, it's drama. It's drama at the highest levels at some point, and it was a really great time and an amazing cast, you know. And I'll just run down the roster really quick. Obviously, I play Alex Echo 3-1, and Barry Sloan plays the indomitable Captain Price. And but we also have Sergeant Kyle Garrick, who's British SAS, played by Elliot Knight, and you get to play as him a lot in the game. He's a wonderful actor. And then you have Farah and Hadir, who are the freedom fighters in Urzikstan, and they're played by Claudia Dumit and Aiden Bristow, and they did phenomenal work in those roles with the accents and speaking Arabic and everything else too. So I'm glad that it resonates with you guys because these are top-notch actors, and it was a really, really fun experience working with them.
I'm curious. So I have heard from sort of watching interviews and things over the years, and that a lot of times with traditional voice acting, you are alone in a booth, and you are not working with other actors in that moment. With performance capture, were you all acting and working together in these scenes, physically there together for most of it?
Yeah, we were always, the cut scenes, absolutely, for sure. The little scenes that lead into the mission, and then you dissolve into the player's perspective. All that stuff, we were all there together. Everybody who played in those scenes, we were there together creating it. And it was cool. And it's Barry Sloan, has said in interviews that it's a lot like theater. It's a lot more like theater than it is television and film making. And for that reason, you are on a space. The movement is encouraged. Obviously, you have your blocking and your marks and all these things interacting with objects that are mostly make-believe. But also, you have to be word perfect. It's just like when the curtain goes up on a play, you're word perfect until the curtain comes back down and then the final curtain call. So that was on us to really have a well-rehearsed, well-oiled machine, and it kind of unfolded like a drama, a theatrical.
So did you do group rehearsals prior to? Yeah,
before we would go and shoot 3 or 4 days during any given week, we would come in a day before, and we would walk through everything, get our blocking down, work through the lines, work through the scenes, that sort of stuff, so that on the day we were word perfect as much as could be, because there's no fixing in the editing room for video games. It's action, then it's cut, and everything in between has to be completely locked in because you're shot by 50 plus cameras. Like you're not going to edit off 50 different cameras.
Yeah. Was there anything that you found particularly like challenging, like harder than you thought was going to be with like this kind of?
Yeah. Had you done performance capture?
I had done a little bit, not to this extent. So I was very familiar with the outfit that you wear and the helmet cam rig and stuff like that. I think the challenging part was, it's funny because you do have to use so much of your imagination, and you do have to kind of get a glimpse of like, okay, well, if we're inside of a chopper, I need to know kind of where the walls are and this and that, whatever. So they do construct kind of a crude like PVC pipe square or cube that you play in.
That's a car door.
But sometimes, sometimes in the middle of a scene, and I was guilty of this a couple times, I got a note that was basically like, okay, well, it's a little bit rocky up here. Brace yourself on top of the chopper as you move from the back to the front. I'd put my hand through the chopper, or I'd put my head when I stood up. Like, actually, you got to kneel down more because your head is actually through the ceiling of the chopper. And, it's a quick way to lose your head.
I think you have a challenge, and a few of the other actors, of being playable characters. I think there's a whole other suite of articulation that happens with that, aside from just delivering the voice lines. Right. And that is getting hurt and kind of responding to kind of emergent things that happen to you in the game. So can you tell us about the process of like recording a bunch of... What was that like?
It's fun. I mean, even for TV and film, when you have to go in and do some voice looping on some sloppy audio, it's like we call them efforts. It's always you get a sheet of paper, right, with your lines, and there's an asterisk efforts, and it's just like this like dubious term, and you're like, what does that even mean? But we had very specific. So we did all the cutscenes first, all the stuff that would play in the missions themselves, and then we got called in for a bunch of sessions of just plain voiceover.
Okay,
that battle chatter you hear back and forth through the radio as you're playing through the missions. Some things we call nags, which are 5 variations on a command, pick up the binoculars. We're waiting on you, Sergeant. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Driving that player forward.
Yeah.
So,
Nags is a great name
Nags,
for that.
that's what it's called.
Like, hey, we need you through the door. You're like, I'm looking for collectibles.
Right.
Captain Price.
Yeah, no, they'll nag the crap out of you until you do it, man. But that's a lot of the voiceover stuff that we do there, the battle chatter stuff when you're actually in the thick of things. But also, when you take fire, the heavy breathing and the screen goes red and the blood splatter, right?
Yep.
I was called in one day and I had it was a series of deaths, and I had to do something like 5 death by fires, like 5 variations on dying by flames, dying by grenade, dying by gas asphyxiation. I was just a million different, to the point where me and the director are looking at each other and we're just like, let's just wing it. I don't know.
It's like, what does that mean?
What is it like to die?
I have no experience to draw on, from this sort of thing. So,
well, take me back. So, take me back to when you get this role, because we've seen a lot of actors over the years in Call of Duty, and so I'm kind of curious. This is such a huge stage in the video game space and in the pop culture space. Call of Duty is a pop culture fixture every single fall of every single year. So do you audition? How many, does it take? Is it like 17 callbacks, or do they just do they zero in on you from something else that they've
What does
seen?
Ryan need to do to be the star of the next Call of Duty? What is it?
Well, I'll
get handsome first. He's got that covered.
Trust me. There's no mustache in real life, so handsome just goes out the window. The process for me was I got an audition from a casting director, and she handles video games, but she also handles television and film. And she knew my work, and she thought I was right for this this role in this game, which we had no idea what the game was.
Yeah.
Completely.
Not public at all at that
Totally in the dark. And so we went in there, and I thought I would go interview with her. Instead, I found myself driving out to the soundstage where we actually filmed. And I worked with Taylor Kurosaki, our brilliant director, Brian Bloom, our writer, and also an accomplished voiceover actor and theatrical actor. And,
star of their last game.
Yeah,
he's great.
Exactly. He's a great guy. And so we went in there, and it was me and those guys. And it was just a big space, the volume, as they call it. And they were like, here's a table, here's some guns, here's some chairs, let's use all the things. Let's just make this a really dynamic audition. Television, film, you audition, it's this. And you have to stay on that thing, But for this game, they want to see you move, they want to see you use the space, use the objects, the props. And so we went in there, and there's the scene in the game that players will come upon earlier when I first meet Farah. I am kind of walking into territory. They don't know who I am.
Right.
I come in, shove me down in a chair. Farah starts asking me questions. Well, that's a scene that I did in my audition.
Oh, cool.
And I did it with Brian. And so Brian is right up there acting with me, and he, puts me in kind of a chokehold and drags me from behind and slams me down into the chair. And so it was a really fun audition, and I really got to know those guys really well from that process on. And honestly, it was one and done. I didn't hear anything for about 6 weeks after. But
is that an agonizing 6 weeks, or is it just sort of par for the course in your line of work?
Honestly, as an actor, it's being less attached to every outcome, the better for your sanity. So
you're like, I'll hear something or I won't.
I loved it. I know it went well, but these you're talking about God knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars it takes to make these games. People are going to weigh in, right? It goes all the way up the food chain, and hopefully you just keep surviving the cuts all along the way.
Well,
luckily I did.
They must have liked you, because I can't imagine that they ran 100 actors through the audition process you described. You must have been, it was...
They might have run 100 actors.
No, that sounds very intricate. Well,
Taylor even has that. He has that anecdote where he's with Barry auditioning for Captain Price, and they had some faux name that wasn't to give away, just in case he had any knowledge of Call of Duty. And he liked Barry so much that he crossed it out and wrote Captain Price. And it was like, Really? That's exactly what it sounds like, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Ryan that I think they probably picked up what you were putting down.
I think Taylor, and Taylor was very generous and very complimentary of all the actors. And, he just, on day one, I remember he sat us all down. He's like, we wanted you guys from the start. We fought for you guys. You're here. Let's make a video game. And so that was it was really, really nice to hear. And, I think the one thing that struck me the most about auditioning for this game and booking this lead role was in television and film, there's a lot of politicking, there's a lot of political maneuvering. Everybody has their favorites. So more often than not, and I would say way more often than not, the best actor doesn't win the job. There's a million factors that go in to decide who gets paid and hired and gets to suit up for that gig. With Taylor and this process and Brian and everybody, it was kind of like the resume may have got you in the door, but then he just wanted to see who could portray this character, who could breathe the most original life into this character, and all that other stuff went aside. It wasn't about package deals from a high agency, pairing a director with it wasn't any of these things that normally you have to suffer as a TV and film actor. It felt like a level playing field by people who are really passionate about having the best actors breathe the best life into these original characters. And I'm grateful for that because it doesn't always look like that day to day.
And I know that you've only just now seen the final product along with everyone else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that seems wild to me that they wouldn't at least, I don't know, send you a build ahead
you
of
an
time.
early copy.
You're already under such heavy NDA.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, that actually leads me to another question.
I feel like they offered it up, like to come and play and stuff like that, and they were really cool. Even with the unfinished cutscenes and stuff, they would show us. We would have a whole sense of like awe and wonder way in advance.
Yeah,
and I feel like the opportunity would have been to go in there and go and play, but like I really wanted to kind of experience it when everyone else did.
Have you?
I really did.
Have you popped on to like Twitch or whatever just to like see where people are in the campaign or anything?
I haven't. I actually popped onto IGN's YouTube channel and watched the first 20 minute playthrough.
Cool.
Yeah, I just want to see how the game opened and
that's great.
What the missions were, how they were ordered and structured a little bit, but I didn't let myself get too far.
The camera literally backs into your face.
Yes.
Which I think is really cool. I think it's a really cool way to set up.
So as now you're starting to see the marketing push though, because every Call of Duty gets a massive marketing push. Is it weird seeing, because I think you live in LA, correct?
I do.
So I am, and Activision's in LA, so it's our home turf. Just like we see a lot of Ubisoft advertisement here in San Francisco. Is it just kind of surreal seeing all the billboards and things for Call of Duty?
Barry Sloan is everywhere.
Yeah,
Captain Price is everywhere. And what a great cover. I'm so glad they leaned into putting Captain, because usually it's more of a nondescript soldier that makes the cover of these games. Yeah. But I feel like Infinity Ward and Taylor and all those guys really pushed to have this more of a character-driven release, and that's why you got to see Captain Price on the cover of the game, and we were allowed to talk about it 4 months in advance. That never happens. If you're in a video game so NDA protected like this, when the game drops, you get to maybe then say that I'm a part of the game. But they were so gracious in letting the actors talk about their involvement, and I think that it was a different playbook, I think, for them to lean into the characters and lean into the actors playing those characters to really help kind of drive the hype and the excitement about this game. But I love it. There's a bus stop right by my apartment. There's Barry. Captain Price.
That's awesome.
On Overwatch, watching my 6, but billboards, bus wraps, that's
cool.
It's quite mind blowing.
Hopefully, he lives in LA and is seeing all this stuff all over the place too.
He's getting
and sending you texts of saw me again, haven't seen you,
taking selfies with himself and sending them to you. So I have a question. All right, so you're in Call of Duty, that's done. What's like another game franchise you think you'd want to be in? Because this whole mocap voice acting, it's everywhere now. Every game has it. So what's something you think that you got your eyes on anything?
That's an easy one.
That's
an easy one.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be the same as this type of game.
Sure.
But I've been playing Warcraft for the past
12
years.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
So I would love.
That is amazing.
I would love Blizzard Overlords, if you're listening. I would love to just have just a little NPC voice in that game, just because I've been playing since the tail end of vanilla. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's think bigger.
I'm going back through WoW Classic now.
You playing Classic? What server?
Yeah.
We'll exchange.
What server are you on?
This is old Blanchy or something.
Let's think bigger here, Chad. I'm thinking Duncan Jones, Warcraft 2, the movie. Let's get you, let's get you a lead role
Trust
in that.
me, man, I'll take it. I like the Warcraft movie. It was just nice to see those
fortune,
characters
right?
in a different way.
Particularly overseas.
It did make a fortune. That's true.
So
yeah, I was at that
we got to
premiere.
think a little bigger here, but that's
not
cool.
the answer I was expecting.
I did not. I didn't know I was sitting next to a WoW nerd because I'm a WoW nerd. I've been playing since vanilla.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's just check that one off first, but then we can go into more of these games. I mean, look, I would be happy to play, in some iteration of Call of Duty, for the rest of my life. Like, I love this franchise. I love these games, and hopefully Alex, survives to see another day. In one of these
before we let you go, Mark touched on the NDA thing, and you kind of mentioned that. So, how long were you sitting on the fact that this was, because the fact that this was a Modern Warfare reboot, they're bringing Modern Warfare back. It's a huge deal in the gaming community, and of course was unveiled just prior to E3, like back in May or so. So how long were you sitting on it? And were you ever? Is that anxiety riddled for you? That, like, you're afraid you're going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person and you're going to accidentally leak the game? Like, I don't know. Or maybe you're just super well used to it at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, I was very conscious not to tell too much. Even when people would ask, like, what are you working on? I'm like, oh, I'm working on this really cool game. And they're like, oh, cool. Like, what is it? Is it Call of Duty? And I'm like, I can't say. But their first, I crap you not, their first guess every single time was Call of Duty. Like, that's how ubiquitous this game is. That's how with the presence that this game has, is that when I said I was working at a video game, everybody immediately went to Call of Duty.
You're like, it's not Call of Duty. They're like, it's probably World of Warcraft then. That's the only other thing.
Yeah, but no, we sat on I auditioned like last April. I think we were doing the scans and stuff like come May, June, and we were kind of cameras rolling in like August or September. So I was sitting on it for quite a while, which is, that's a hard thing to sit on.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited, to be a part of it. So we didn't know it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare until we were on set.
Was there a code name, like a working title that you'd refer to it as?
Oh, what was it called?
Because I'm always curious what those things are.
What was it called? I don't think this would get me in trouble if I told
No,
you.
not. I mean, it's out now, right?
I think it was called like Behemoth or something.
Oh,
cool.
Interesting.
Nice.
The dope code name.
Yeah.
Dope one.
Yeah, it was fun. I knew something was up when they had me go down to Activision for the scans, and I'm like, War Game?
Sure.
What could it be?
Yeah.
They only publish like 2 games now, so
regular Sherlock Holmes over here.
Well, so fortunately, Blizzard, World of Warcraft, same parent company, so you've already got an in.
I think they talk.
Future is bright.
Maybe they don't.
Well, can I ask you? Would you be? I know we got to wrap up, but can I ask you? Would you prefer to play kind of an alliance character, like a noble human, or an orc, like a horde character?
Or the alliance?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Cool.
Paladin.
Yes.
Man. Paladin. My Dungeons and Dragons character is Paladin. Like, I'm just
great.
a Paladin guy. I'm all about the pally.
Right, we all get along at this table. Look at that.
Yeah.
Chad Michael Collins, thank you so much. Congratulations on the launch.
Thank you.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, of which you are the star, not Captain Price.
I don't know that that's accurate.
Just
I'm going to let you say it.
Barry tunes in.
Yeah, he got the cover. He's had enough.
So, yeah, we wish you the best of success. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with us. I love talking to actors and voice actors and people that work in games, because it's just you have such a unique perspective on it that we as players just don't see. So I find the whole process super fascinating. You did a great job.
Thank you very much.
And come back and see us again.
I hope so.
All right, we'll see you next week for yet another episode of Podcast Unlocked.